So what else did you learn across that bike ride across America, or those multiple? I mean, was
Yeah.
it transformative in the same way that going across Asia was?
Um, Not directly. Um, it was leading to something that was very transformative, and which I told a story on one of the very early episodes of This American Life. I told the story of my journey on being reborn, basically. So, in the context of that bicycle ride, was I was riding to dying. So I was going to be, I had until a certain date, October 1st, to live, and I was riding towards my end. And so the actual being reborn was transformative in many ways, and that was just kind of leading to it. The bike ride. What I learned from the bike ride outside of that was I'd never really been too much of America. I had, when I was young, went to Asia, and I became Asian, and I'd never really seen what the U.S. was. And riding around through the West was kind of eye-opening. You know, I grew up in the East Coast, suburb of New York City. People in the West have a very different view. There's a lot more of that kind of against anti-government kind of style, a little bit of the redneck mistrust of government. Was like, whoa, I had no idea this was, that kind of Idaho. I went through Idaho. It's like, boy, this is a different America than the blue state that I grew up in, and I'd never been out of that. And so that was getting, kind of feeling a little different pulse of America was a huge thing. Just getting to see how the rest of the world and the rest of the country lived was a big thing. And that was also with my teenage son. We rode from Vancouver down to Mexico border along the coast of the West Coast, from Canada to Mexico, and that was done more recently, and that was the same kind of thing. It was like getting, parts of Northern California are very different from Silicon Valley. They're very hard up. It's really hard scrabble. They're boarded up towns or stores and towns and stuff. And it was like, yeah, it's really good to get out of my little bubble and see what's really happening for the rest of the country. And that's and you, when you're on a bicycle, you feel that a lot more. You feel it and sense it and see it. You're on different kind of roads. You're not on a big 8-lane highway which is cutting through something. You're actually in the place itself. And I highly recommend, by the way, bike tours as a way to see something. You see a little bit more than if you're walking, which is a little too slow, and you see 1,000 million times more than if you're in a car. So it's a good compromise in between walking in a car.
What was the difference? You said you did it the second time with your son.
Yeah.
So what was the difference between doing it alone the first time versus doing it with your son?
Yeah, actually, with my son and my nephew and his cousin, two teenage boys. Um, well, yeah, I mean, part of what we were doing, what I was doing, was less about me and more about them. So I was less kind of, on the journey of seeking me, and it was more of kind of like introducing them to this experience. Well, first of all, showing them that, giving them a sense of accomplishment. I mean, I tell you, if you bicycled from Canada to Mexico and complete that, that gives you a tremendous boost in confidence, that you can do other things that you didn't think, was because they weren't real. They almost didn't make it, or I mean, they almost gave up. But there was a sense of, no, you can really do this. And so for me, it was a lot more of kind of what was going on was introducing young teenagers to the possibilities of what is out there, and good and bad, and just kind of one thing is when you're kind of like this, um, you don't know what's ahead, right? And even if you have a map, you still really know what's ahead, and you're much more reliant on the kindness of strangers, the luck of a place being open because you don't have reservations, like kind of a sense of going with the flow and being open to the universe, and trying to teach them to depend and rely on that kind of spirit of not having everything decided and ordered and arranged for you, where you kind of actually have to do that work. So, it's sort of the kinds of things that, like Outward Bound and a program like that might teach you. And that's sort of what I was doing in my own version.
When you said that there was a point when they might not have made it through,
Yeah.
what types of things did you say to them to help them propel them to keep going?
Well, one was like, if you don't do this, you'll always regret it. If you don't finish, you will regret this. It's sort of like the way you often do it is just like, okay, let's just do one more day. Okay, we can do one more day. Just it's that kind of thing, like when you're climbing Mount Everest. It's like we'll just do one more step, and then we'll do the step. And okay, can we do one more step? And so you just break it down to kind of like the easiest next thing to do. Let's just go to this other town and have lunch. Then you're there at lunch. Oh, you're feeling a little better. Do you think we can make it to here? So you kind of, when you're discouraged and stopped, and as long as you're not hurting or whatever, not injured, you kind of break it down to this kind of the next thing. And then sometimes even doing that for a little while, you kind of break through whatever that discouragement or was, and you can kind of say, hey, I can see it. I can see it now. We can do it. So it's a little bit of that, of saying it's actually not that difficult to just ride to the next town. We can do that. We may go slow, but we can do it. We may have another flat tire, but we can fix it. Right? These are all solvable. So those are the great lessons of just saying, we'll break it down into small, little, doable chunks.